Hey guys, the latest update to Shard Tabletop added an exciting new option to maps. Your players can now explore the map using their line of sight. Additionally, maps can have darkness and light applied to make them even more immersive. Let's take a look. This is a new image the Tyke Maps just posted, so I'm going to use it as an example. On the top is the player view, and below is the game master. With traditional fog, players can see only the unfogged area here. If you go into the map settings, a new option has been added to enable dynamic lighting. This will automatically be set if adding any of the new lighting-based elements. While lighting uses the same regions as fog, they instead function as walls that block line of sight. One of the new tools is the ability to create circular regions. Since this is a tower, let's use that to set up the walls. Just click and drag to create a circle, just like using the rectangle tool. Now, while the vertices are pretty close to the center line of the image, notice that some of the walls kind of intrude. The other new tool allows us to cut new vertices into the wall, so let's subdivide those walls to make them a bit more round. Now for the interior room, we want to keep it separate from the other room so they can be fogged or lit individually. Using the rectangle tool, notice that it runs into the walls of the outer region and stops. That helps us make connecting areas. Since we don't want this room to be inside the other, we'll drag the points from the circle while holding Control so they won't snap, and then drop them along the outside wall. Now, the GM can go into campaign settings and switch the map from fog regions alone to instead use line of sight. Notice that the player can see because by default the map is lit. Let's go back and tweak a couple things. Under fog tools, notice we can toggle whether the map is lit or not by default. Clicking on a region, you can also set whether that region is lit or not. The map is lit, but let's say this room is not. Now the player is in the dark, so let's have him do something about that. He has a torch, so let's equip it. Items can now be configured to shed light, so the player can now see. Just select the Radiate Light option and specify the range. Characters can also have features that allow them to shed light, or conditions can be applied to do so. Additionally, map tokens can be set to shed light or specify a regions of light or darkness. This means these two lamps can actually be set up to emit light. The new tools also include the ability to set a portion of the wall to be a window, or to be toggleable for use a door. There are a couple windows and a door in this room, so let's cut those out, then use wall tools to specify them as each type. The player can now look outside the tower through the window, and the GM can toggle the door as opened or closed, allowing players to see into the next area. Note that although doors and walls are present, that doesn't prevent players from moving through them. Also, line of sight updates when you drop the token, so you can see that the player couldn't see the rest of the tower until they moved out of the smaller room. And even then, their line of sight is obstructed to the north. Finally, there is a third campaign option, which combined fog regions with line of sight. This means you can selectively fog and unfog regions, and within unfogged regions, players still explore using only their line of sight. Note that if you are going to be using this mode in larger areas, you'll want to subdivide corridors into smaller regions, so players can't see across the entire map. In the Game Master's view, note that in line of sight mode, you can see what all of the players together can see. In combined mode, you also see fogged and unfogged regions. To see what a specific player or monster can see, click them and then use the binoculars to adjust your view to just that creature. Click it again to return to full view. While dynamic lighting has arrived, not everything has yet been updated to use it. Older maps do not automatically have support enabled, but it is relatively easy to do so. However, windows and doors will need to be configured before you begin play. Additionally, items and conditions will be updated to radiate light soon. If you want to use a torch or lantern in the meantime, you'll need to edit the item to radiate light. Similarly, spells like Darkness will be updated to use the Shape Lighting option to create a sphere of lightless area. Thanks for watching. Join us on the Discord for Shard Tabletop to discuss modeling for these features. See you next time!